Okay, hello everybody. This is a hard copy video that I'm producing for the YouTube platform, and now I can just sit here and just chat because I'm not interacting right now. So this is for YouTube, maybe other platforms as well. I want to share with you a unique experience that I had after church got out last night. We had a missionary come visit our church. After the service got over, I had a conversation with someone, and he had mentioned these Japanese missionaries. I'm going, I know someone that, I assumed he was Japanese, but found out he's actually got a Hispanic name. But I mentioned, I haven't heard from my friend Mark in over a year. I couldn't pronounce his last name, but I just mentioned that I haven't heard from my friend Mark. Now here's what the strange thing is. No sooner did I say that, when I got home that evening, I had a private message from Mark, and that message was timed at 7:41, but the conversation I was having with that other individual didn't happen until about 7:45. So I just thought, that is so strange. That is so strange. So I'm saying, have you ever had an experience like that? I was talking to one lady that today, I shared with her the experience that I had, how I haven't heard from my friend Mark. No sooner did I mention him in a conversation, then I get a message from him on Messenger. And that message came 4 minutes before I mentioned him. So I just think that's just so strange. It's such a unique phenomenon. And I just spoke to Mark, and he says it's a God thing. And I'm going, it has to be. It has to be. There's no rational explanation. It's just a strange, freaky coincidence. What are the odds that you would have a conversation with somebody and mention someone you haven't seen or heard from in, say, even 5 or 10 years. Then you go home and you get a phone call from them. Or you get a private message from them because you may be somewhere where there's no internet. So no sooner do you mention it than you get a message from them. It could have on Messenger or whatever, or a text shortly thereafter. Either that text came right before the conversation, which mine did, and because not everybody checks their text. I don't. So I just thought, that's a unique experience. Wow. So I want to hear what your experience was. I'm going to make this for YouTube. I may put it up on Facebook. I don't know yet. But bang the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. And comment below. Comment. I want to hear your comments. Because I had a lady tell me her story, and it went something like this. She said she hadn't heard from her son in almost a year. So she said, one day I decided to pick up the phone and call my son. No sooner decided to pick up the phone and call my son, he calls her. They were thinking the same thing at the same time. And so she shared that experience with me. What I want to hear is your experience that you can explain. Have you mentioned something or someone, and then it just seems to come true shortly thereafter? Now, I'm not talking about when you mention how much you love Jeep Wranglers and all of a sudden they show up in your news feed. No, you mentioned you haven't heard from a certain individual, and then out of the clear blue sky, that individual shows up. This happened to me at work. I was having a conversation with a coworker, and we were talking about a customer that we haven't seen in years. And then the very next day, that customer shows up. Not only did that customer show up, but he requested Mary, who is one of the coworkers I work with, because Mary and I were talking about it. And so, well, Mary's not here. She's at a doctor's appointment. Well, right after he asked for Mary, within 30 seconds, 45 seconds, right after he'd asked for her, she walks through the front door. Now that is strange. That's just a unique phenomenon. So, like I said, bang the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave comments below. I want to hear your story. Have you had a similar experience to that? Have you had something happen to you you just can't explain? This strange notion to call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Instead of you making the call, they called you at the same time you're getting ready to make that call. Or like I say, you just mention someone, and the next day they show up. You're just even just thinking about them. You may not have ever mentioned them, but you were thinking about that person and thinking, whatever happened to so and so, and the next day you see them. Have you ever had that happen to you? I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. It's just one of those very unique things, and I just think that's strange. So that'd be about as strange as, let's say, because it has to be a God thing, right? Let's say that why can't I wish $1 million into existence? I mean, I can speak a certain person, talk about somebody, and the next day they show up. Why can't I do that with $1 million? Ever wonder why you can't do that with money? I don't understand it. I don't get it. So, how about this? How about I'm thinking of somebody right now, okay? I'm thinking of a very specific individual, but it's in my thoughts. It's between me and the big guy upstairs. Now, what are the chances that this person that I'm thinking of right now would suddenly show up at my doorstep, or show up at my place of work the next day? I work in a public place, so she could easily come in for breakfast. And, that could happen. I see hundreds of people a day. But what are the chances that the very person that I'm thinking of would show up the next day? Because she's never come in for breakfast. She's never been there before. I don't think she has. And what are the chances? Or better yet, let's spice it up some more. What are the chances this person I'm thinking of would invite me to her home for dinner? Because Valerie's invited me to her house for dinner. My friend Scott, I do get dinner invitations, So, but this person I'm thinking of, now I could be thinking about anybody. This could be someone that I knew back in the 3rd grade, some girl I had a crush on as far back as the 3rd grade in Miss Vineyard's math class. Because that was my teacher, my 3rd grade teacher. So, it could be a girl I used to sit next to in the 3rd grade. But you don't know that. See, nobody knows. Nobody knows the exact person I'm thinking of. Only I know, and the big guy up there knows. So, it could be anybody. Like I said, it could be this girl that I knew from Japan. I had met her back when I was working at Greyhound, and she'd been in town for a couple of days. We went out on a couple of dates. I still got the poster she left me. It's still hanging on my wall. We corresponded back and forth for a couple of months, and we just lost touch. I have not seen this girl in 30 years. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of. So you don't know. I could be thinking about anybody. So what are the chances this person I'm thinking of is just going to waltz into my life? She's going to come in for breakfast, because she never comes to George's. She never comes. So what are the chances she would just show up? Just like that. Slim to none. But that's what this phenomenon is. I mean, you're thinking about something, thinking about somebody, and then it just happens. And that's what happened to me yesterday. And I can't get it out of my mind. It's like, it just totally blows my mind. I was thinking about my friend Mark, and the next day, that night, he private messages me, and the message came at 7:41, but I didn't mention him till 7:45. I know what time church got out, what time that missionary is done speaking, and I had 2 or 3 conversations with people, and so I knew it was 7:45, going on 8 o'clock by the time I was leaving the church. And I got home and there was Mark at 7:41. So what are the chances, right? Very slim to none. I'm going, wow. So like I said, bang the like button, subscribe. I want to hear your stories. Do a video response if you'd like. If you can't write it in the comments, at least do a video response to this. I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say. How many times? It's up to 10 minutes. So, like I said, I'm thinking of somebody right now, right? I mean, this phenomenon has already happened to me. And I had a woman mention the phenomenon that happened to her, how her son just contacted her out of the blue at the same time she was thinking about him. So, has this happened to you? Have you experienced this phenomenon? I want to hear. I want to hear your story because it's unique. Like I said, what are the odds? Whoever I'm thinking of would show up, or she'll invite me to dinner with her family, or she'll just show up at George's. She could do there's 2 or 3 things she would do that she has never done and will never do in a million zillion years ever. I could be thinking about a long lost love from 30 years ago. I mean, what are the chances that person's going to show up just like that? I could be thinking about some young lady that I know. She's super beautiful, and there's no way on God's green earth I'll ever be able to go on a date with her. All of a sudden, she takes an interest. She'll just show up just like that. I could be thinking about anybody. Like I said, it could be anybody. Someone I knew 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Who knows? Could be anybody. Anybody at all. That she would just drop in out of the blue sky. Just like Mark did. I have not heard from Mark. No sooner did I mention it than he showed up. Just one of those things. Well, thanks for tuning in. And I'd like to hear your story. So, comment. This is the YouTube version. I may upload it to Facebook. I don't know yet. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.